Hello everybody and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to use a daylight sensor as a switch to get an output. So you can right click on it to change its status, and this contraption over here will give you an output which you can hook up to a door or whatever you want this thing to interact with. And Cube Hamster is here with me today. How you doing,
Yo,
guy?
good man.
Cool. Yep, this was an idea that I had, and as soon as I had it I knew I wouldn't be able to do the redstone and I'd have to call in the help of an expert. So Cube has put this thing together right here for us. Do you want to explain how it works?
Yeah, sure. If you look behind you, you'll see we have two daylight sensors hooked up, one in the night state and one in the day state. And we have command blocks cycling the day-night cycle rather quickly at the moment.
Yes.
But basically what happens with the new daylight sensor, the inverted state is literally the inverted state of the day sensor. So the total of both the daylight sensors will always come down to 15. Like they really fill each other up in that aspect. And you
Yeah.
can kind of use that. So we have the input mechanism here, and there's like depending on what time of day and what state it's in, there's always two things that can happen. Either the signal strength coming from the daylight sensor is going to be 8 or more, or it's going to be 7 or less, like regardless of what state it is.
Yeah.
Um, but it can never be like both at the same time, depending on the state. So what you can do is, we have a hopper here that transmit exactly a signal strength 7, and we're subtracting. So what will happen is we will either get a positive signal strength, or we will get a negative, or basically a 0 signal strength. And whenever we flick it,
It's going to
like
change.
it's going to change. So it's going to go either from on to off or from off to on. And we have hooked this mechanism up to a dual edge detector, which gives a little pulse whenever it goes from on to off or from off to on.
It just made a little pulse then as well, didn't
Yeah,
it? Because it'll do it at every. I'm not sure what time of day it is, but when it passes over that point between 7 and 8, this thing is going to create a
yeah,
signal,
yeah.
and then
And
that's why you have all of
that's why you
this
have
on the
this.
other side as well.
Exactly. So that's why we have the second circuit here. And the second circuit is just so that during the day, like we said, we don't know the exact time, but whenever it goes from signal strength 8 to 7 or from 7 to 8, this little circuit is going to also send a little pulse
There
to
it goes.
counteract
It
to
just did it.
counteract yeah, to counteract the pulse from our input mechanism, so it doesn't fire when you don't want it to.
Exactly. And it's a little bit big at the moment, isn't it? But it does exactly what it's supposed to. It does it
Yeah,
flawlessly, actually.
yeah.
But we wanted to see if you guys had any ideas on compacting this, because you can see it's doable in survival, but a little impractical. It's a big thing to build for just, a little right click, to open a door or something like that. So if any of you have ideas, be sure to share them with us on how we could possibly compact this.
It's very fancy though. I mean,
It is. To build this contraption, you are going to need an area of land that is 4 blocks wide and 17 blocks deep. You can see here I have highlighted with dark grey wool the areas that you're actually going to be building in, and the red block here represents the input. So if you go up by 2 blocks, place the daylight sensor, that's going to be your input, and you can see that this will be flush with the ground. So it means all you have to do is find your ground level and then dig down by 2 blocks. Now there's a green block over here that represents the output, so that's where you'll wire this up to a door or whatever it is it's going to activate. So in this chest we have the materials that you'll need to build this. We will need 8 building blocks, 7 pieces of redstone, 13 redstone comparators. You're going to need 6 hoppers. 4 of them will just have 1 item inside, and the other 2 will have this amount of items in them as well, and I'll point that out when we're doing the tutorial. As well as that, you're going to need 4 droppers, 3 daylight sensors and a redstone torch. So let's start this off by placing the input. We're going to put a block down, a piece of redstone on top of it, and then our daylight sensor at the top there. Then we want to put a hopper at the back here, just facing into the ground, and inside this one we want to put those items like we talked about earlier. And then in front of that we're going to have a comparator, piece of redstone in front of it, and then a comparator pointing out at this block from which our input comes through, and we want to put that one on subtract mode. Then over here we want to place 3 blocks like so, have a comparator here facing in that direction, a piece of redstone between these 2 blocks, and on the side of this one we want to have a redstone torch. Then here what we want to do is place 2 droppers facing forward, put 2 hoppers facing into them like this, and in each of those we just want to put a single item like so. Then over here we're going to have 2 comparators facing in that direction. We're going to put a block at the back, a piece of redstone in front of it, another comparator here, and then that's going to be our output, but this comparator needs to be in subtract mode. So now we're going to build the other half of the circuit. We want to start off by placing a hopper facing into the ground, and inside of that we're going to place our items like so. And then on either side we need a daylight sensor. This one over here needs to be inverted, and then we'll place 3 comparators in a row, and then another 2, both of which need to be on subtract mode. Then you need to place a piece of redstone in the middle and another piece over here, and then put down 2 blocks, one there and one here. Then we need to put a dropper facing in this direction, another one facing in that direction, and then place 2 hoppers facing into the droppers and put a single item in each of those. And then facing out from the hoppers we need a comparator and another one there, then a block in front of this one and a piece of redstone on this one. So sunset and sunrise is when this thing will work. If we have a look down here, it's going to cancel itself out. There we go, so you can see we have built this correctly, and if we go and press this you can see the comparator activating, giving us an output. So that's how you build the contraption, and again a big thanks to Cube Hamster. He built all of this, it was just my idea, he put it into action. So if you want to check him out, he is a redstone expert. There'll be a link to his channel in the description box down below. But that is it for this tutorial. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, it will always be appreciated, and as always thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.